Hello everyone, welcome back. If you haven't seen the previous video, I highly recommend it. That way you understand what this current one is about. And for those who already seen it but need like a little quick refresher, here it is. Okay, so now that you have that, I wanted to add a bit more information and context pertaining to some of the stuff that I said in the previous video. So for one, I did find the message that I sent Stellar. This is what I wrote. I ended up paraphrasing it in my previous video, but this is actually verbatim what I wrote, and I believe I wrote it on the 17th or the 18th, but I'm fairly certain it was the 17th. I think I sent it around the same time I sent it to Moony. I could be wrong though, but I don't remember. Second, I wanted to add context about one of the statements I made towards the end of the video, and that was when I was responding to Moony's statement that I wrote stories that glorified sexual assault as means of revenge. And I responded with, if I wanted to be petty, I could state that she, Korea, and their friends make content where high schoolers are doing X, Y, and Z. And in that list, the very last thing I stated on that list, it was a high schooler developing a relationship with a woman who not only has a child, but is 7 years their senior. And I like, the way I laugh at this, because I promise you I did not pull this out of my ass. And now I know you guys are wondering, maybe some of you are wondering, where did I get that from? Because nowhere does it state that, nowhere has any of this happened, blah 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 blah. Okay, so the character I am talking about is Adon, and he is from Korea series Doro, or short for Dorian Robinson, which is the name of the school. In season 1, he meets his love interest, Issa, at a party, and that is the very last episode of season 1. In season 2, he ends up meeting her again, and from there on, they're slowly developing a relationship with each other. Now, the thing about Issa is when she debuted, she received a lot of love, rightfully so, because, I mean, look at her. In my opinion, she's gorgeous. However, Issa is one of those characters that was in development at the time, so she had a bit of a continuity error going on with her, more specifically her age. And one of the things that Korea had stated, and this was in January, I want to say it was in January. If not January, it was like at the very beginning of February. But it was during one of their lives, there was questions being asked about Issa's character, because Korea stated like quite a few times that Adon was going to be in a relationship with an older woman. And when the question about how old this woman was going to be came up, Korea stated that she was in her 20s. Now, at one point, I do remember Korea saying that Issa was about 24 years old. However, because of the fact that she wasn't fully developed, things about Issa kept changing. So on one stream, you would hear that she's 24. On another stream, you would hear, oh, well, she's in her 20s, but it's not a definite number. And another stream, you would hear, oh, when did she graduate? She graduated a minute ago, or she graduated the previous year. So information about Issa was never really consistent. It's possible it's consistent now, but I really don't know, and I genuinely do not care to find out about it. Anyway, during one of Korea's streams that they did in the Sims Corner, the topic of teen pregnancy came up, because at the end of season 1, it was revealed that Drea was pregnant. She ended up sleeping with the host of the party's younger brother, and she ended up getting pregnant. And people were also wondering, hey, will there be a chance that Penny gets pregnant? Because Penny and Lars have a lot of sex, and I doubt they use protection. It's never really stated if they use protection or not, but Definitely at that party, they did not use protection. Can't tell me otherwise. But Korea said no, Penny's not pregnant, and teen pregnancy is not really the main focus of Doro. I would be lying if I remember exactly what they said, but I do know Korea didn't plan on having Drea in season 2 that much. Now, if you guys don't know who Drea is Adon's little sister. She snuck out, went to the party, got her heart broken because she saw her crush all gushy with Penelope, and then she ended up crying, and she met the host of the party's brother. They ended up sleeping together. She took a pregnancy test, and then she found out that she was pregnant. Cue more tears. So that's what happened. But she's not going to make an appearance throughout the series because her pregnancy is not the main focus of Doro. Or at the very least, it's not the main focus of Adon's story. That being said, when Adon finds out that Drea is pregnant, it also leads to him finding out that Issa not only is a single mother, but was a teen mom herself. Now, she wasn't as young as Drea, because again, Korea stated that at the time she was in her 20s. However, when asked when she got pregnant, it was stated that Issa was around Adon's age when she gave birth to her son. So, in season 1 of Doro, Adon was 17. He just celebrated his 18th birthday in season 2. Then, when the question came up about, well, how old is her son? Is he like a baby? Or is he a toddler? They said no, he's a little bit older than that. Okay, so how old? 5, 6, maybe 7? Yeah, around that age. So, with that in mind, let's say Korea didn't say that Issa was 24. Let's just do the math right quick. If Issa got pregnant at 16 and had her son at 17, and at max her son is 7 years old, that would make her 24 years old. Let's say that she had her son at 18 and her son is actually 6 years old. That would still make her 24 years old, which would make her 6 to 7 years Adon's senior, depending on when she got pregnant and when she gave birth. Because again, Korea said that Issa was not as young as Drea when Drea got pregnant, because I think Drea is actually like 14 or 15 years old. I forget. She was around Adon's age, which would be 17 if in season 1, because that's how old he was, or 18, which is how old Adon is now. That's how I got the number. That's it. That's all. Last but not least, I still literally have no idea why Mooney decided to mention my name. She spoke her piece and then she blocked me without even bothering to get my side of the story. I spoke my piece and I was kind of vague about it. Like I said, I didn't think that I would be accused of X, Y, and Z, but I left it alone. I said what I had to say on my own little space and I left the matter alone. The only name I mentioned was on Instagram. And I mentioned Korea's name because Korea tried to gaslight me. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Korea decided to rewrite the entire narrative about me and paint me out to be like some aggressor that I wasn't. But I never said that everybody in the Sims Corner were liars. I never said that everybody in the Sims Corner was telling lies. What I said was that Mooney falsely accused me of streaming incest in the Sims Corner. And she also lied about the fact that I wrote stories that glorify sexual assault as means of revenge. Like, sorry, my character's actions weren't equivalent to that of motherfucking Teresa. Mooney, I didn't know that you would feel so uncomfortable to the point that you literally forgot to give me a warning in January and held on tightly to that issue until June when I was booted from the server by Korea. I'm just saying. It's also one of the reasons that it led me to saying what I said in like the last few seconds of the previous video, which I considered deleted. You see what I mean? You see what I mean when I say that this is just straight up jokes and bullshit? Like, you're selective in your outrage. And you typed it. It's something that Mooney typed. Like, oh, like the fucking unmitigated
gall and stupidity of these bitches, I swear.
As I've stated before, I considered deleting or editing like that last part out, but as much as I say that I'm not losing any sleep, which I'm not, I sleep good at night. I'm good. I'm Gucci. I would be 100% lying to myself that in the midst of making this video, like gathering up all my screenshots and like the recordings and stuff, that my amusement for this turned into annoyance and has started to bother me to some degree, because none of this needed to happen whatsoever. And it's disturbing how much of a follower mentality Moony and the others displayed, because on their quest to defend Korea, they ended up spreading lies. And the reason why I'm pluraling it, even though Stellar and Barry didn't really say anything, I know Stellar stated, like, wrote what she said, and it was in general, and it wasn't particularly directed towards me. And yes, like, she was being sarcastic and like talking like it was common sense. If you don't know anybody by their last name, you're not entitled, which again, cool. But she and Barry contributed in spreading the lies about me that Moony wrote. And because none of them know me like that, or have ever spoken to me like on the same level as Korea does, I can only assume that they believe, like, is it even an assumption? I can only conclude that because of their interactions with me, they assumed and believed that my relationship in Korea was solely on Discord and Tumblr. And I don't even think they are even aware of all the messages that were exchanged between us. And if they do, I genuinely don't think that they care, because the main goal was to defend Korea and lie on me. That was the goal. That was the goal, because it's an echo chamber with them. Korea is not a big creator. Korea is a human being. Don't put Korea on a pedestal. Don't idolize Korea. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do any of those things that are listed about Korea. Treat Korea as a human being. Treat them as a person. Well, here's the thing. Korea is the problem. The problem is Korea. And because they're friends with Korea, I even think that Stellar and Korea dated at one point, but like they broke up or something like that, and they just decided to remain friends. But that's besides the point. Because they are friends with Korea, none of them can accept the fact that, hey, maybe the problem is Korea, because that is the main reason why they said what they said. It's because of the screenshots that Korea shared. It is because of the story that Korea told that they decided to share their 2 cents in the matter. It is the reason why Moony did what she did, why Morv decided to come into my chat and talk and act like her ass can't get touched in real life. It's one of the reasons why all of this has happened, because of Korea, and they can't accept that, and that is a problem. None of the stuff that I have said, none of the stuff that I have done pertaining to Korea is coming from somebody that idolized Korea, that didn't treat them like a human being, that didn't do nothing. I didn't do a damn thing to Korea. Not a thing. Not once. So for them to come out and write randomly that I made them feel unsafe, that I was unfriendly towards them, that for some reason I ended up triggering them somehow because I violated a boundary that I didn't even know existed.
The lies! There you go, this bitch. I'm telling you.
It's not true. It is a complete lie. And because they shared it and made me out to be an aggressor, that's why everybody responded the way that they did. That is why everyone did what they did in defense of Korea. But I have to thank y'all for that. I really do have to thank y'all for that, because y'all decided to share all of that. You gave me the green light to share everything between me and Korea, and I mean everything, because full context matters, right? Hello, I'll be seeing you from the future here. I know, I keep on stopping like in the middle of the video, but what I want to say is that I won't be sharing all of the messages between Korea and myself, and one of the main reasons is I can't.
Disappointed!
From what I see from Korea's old account before they deleted it, there was like a section of messages that I sent them back in January, and it's all gone. Like the only messages I have are from 2023, and the last message they sent was in February 8th, 2024, which is incorrect. They actually messaged me a few times in January on their old account, so I'm not sure where the messages are at. Like it's not here whatsoever. I kind of did a double take, and I probably should have requested from Discord instead of relying on like a third party to extract my messages. I probably should have just requested my data from Discord, but I thought it would take a little bit longer than just extracting what I had. So my mistake. So yes, there may be a few personal stuff, but I'll do my best to like skip over those and just talk about the most important things. Other than that, yeah, I have to paraphrase our conversation from January. I have to go off of memory, which is going to be a bit of a pain, but it's all I can do at this point because I'm not going to wait until Discord gives me the messages. I doubt that it'll be there, but at the same time, I just want to keep the ball rolling because I'm trying to make this just 2 parts, but if it has to be 3, it has to be 3. Okay, thank you. That's all. So before I get way ahead of myself and discuss what happened in the Sims Corner, basically my experience in the Sims Corner and what led to, I guess, the downfall of Korea and my relationship, I have to start from when it began because, again, Mooney and them think that Korea and I were just associated with one another. Well, that's what Mooney alleged because she wrote it with her whole chest. This is why Korea never wanted to be associated with you in the first place. Baby girl.
Round 2.
If and when y'all see this, I want y'all to know that little clip that I shared, that is not a Shutterstock video, that is not a filter, that is not anything than what it is, which is the messages that Korea and I have exchanged with each other over the course of a year. So for you to say with your chest that Korea never wanted to be associated with me in the first place is straight up bullshit. And this is what happens when you act like a fucking goonie and you don't have all the information. This is what happens when you only go off of the words of your friend and don't do your due diligence. You end up looking fucking stupid. You look dumb as hell and you look like a follower. Korea said jump and your dumbass said how high. This is what happens because you ended up defending Korea, who showed you what they wanted to show you, and you decided to take that as your evidence, as the holy grail of evidence, and parade it around as if it is proof of everything that Korea was stating is true, and it's not true. You're defending somebody who, instead of acting their big ass age, Stellar, since everybody wants to quote everybody that has a problem with y'all, but the person that got tagged in a fucking post, instead of acting their big ass age, which is almost 30, they tried to ghost me, and then when they got confronted, they wanted to take the coward's way out and try to gaslight me, and the shit didn't work. So yes, this is what happens when you act like a fucking goonie and you don't know shit. You look fucking stupid. And this is why we're in the state that we're in right now. This is why I have to share all of the messages so that these idiots can understand that no, I wasn't just somebody that Korea was just fucking associated with. I was one of the main people that Korea stated felt like a safe place for them. I was one of the main people that Korea stated that I kept them grounded. Unfortunately, I don't have those screenshots because, like I said before, the messages from January aren't there. But I was one of the main people that Korea was like, oh, thanks, you keep me grounded. You help keep me grounded when I overthink or some shit like that. I was one of the people as well that gave them the idea for Patreon, that encouraged them when they wanted to make spicier content, aka add sex scenes to their machinimas. So yes, feral stocracy of Korea's realm, you're fucking welcome. All that shit right there is because of me. Don't get me wrong, I know that their friends probably had a part in it, but guess what? So did I. And I'ma toot my horn about it every single time, since I ain't got no choice now but to. Cause y'all really got me fucked up.
Hello everyone, I'll be seeing you from the future yet again. after yet another rant, because every time I'm in the process of editing something new comes up. This time I wanted to give like a bit of a disclaimer or an update or something. I'm really not sure what you call it, but I received the data that I requested from Discord about messages pertaining to Korea and myself, because as I stated earlier in the video, there were messages between the two of us from January that were deleted, and I thought it was a result of using a third-party program. Come to find out, I was incorrect. It was my mistake. Korea and I didn't exchange messages on Discord in January. It was actually on Instagram. The other messages from January that I thought Korea and I had exchanged with one another was in the Sims Corner, and I actually didn't know that you could receive messages or the data from a server that you were banned from. So that was actually pretty cool. So I looked through that, and that's where most of the other messages from January came from. Another thing that I learned upon receiving my data from Discord was that Discord only shows messages that I sent. Like, it doesn't show what Korea said to me, it only shows what I said to Korea. Cool, that's fine, no biggie. I have a feeling that I was going to probably paraphrase a few stuff anyway. But most importantly, one of the conversations that we had that I thought was in January, it turned out that it was February 16th to be exact, and it was on Korea's previous account before they deactivated it. Now, that particular conversation that we had, that's the one that's been deleted or didn't transfer over correctly. I can't really find the word. I don't know why that happened, and quite frankly, I just don't care. At this point, I have what I need to continue this already long video of mine. And yeah, while I could have edited the whole rant out, I'm just opting to keep it in and just put this disclaimer in place. So thank you for listening to it, and enjoy the rest of the video. Bye.
6.5 hours later.
That felt good to get off my chest. That was very, very cathartic. And now comes time for me to talk about the individual who I put most of the blame on, because in my humble opinion, it is their fault. Korea.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
So in order for you guys to understand the relationship that I had with Korea, I have to go back to 2022. I'll give like a bit of a Cliff Notes version. So back in 2022, I was on TikTok, and I believe I saw a video of Korea's Sims. And at that time, Korea didn't go by their current name. They went by a name that started with a B, and I think I probably always mispronounced it as like Behemoth or something like that. I don't remember. I just know that it started with a B, and I believe that there was a couple of letters that had an H and an M and an S in it. But yeah, so Korea went by that, and if I remember correctly, I think they also had their sim self as their icon, but it's been so long, so I don't remember. But I do remember seeing their TikTok, and I said, oh, this sim is really cute. But you know how TikTok is, like 1 minute you scroll and then it just vanishes, and that's what happened. And I never really saw their work again, and I said that kind of sucks because their sims are cute. And I'm not gonna lie, Korea makes good work, and they really know how to make really good male sims. I don't know if you're one of the people in the Sims community that be making sims, but you'll probably see a few comments here and there asking for advice on how to make male sims, because for some reason they're one of the hardest things to make. But Korea is in that department of making really good male sims. One of my favorite sims that they made, his name is Zazel, and he had red hair. He looked absolutely gorgeous in my humble opinion. Just like chef's kiss, that man was just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, I'm trailing off. So I lost Korea's work, and again, Korea didn't go by Korea at the time. They went by a different name. And I want to say the summer of 2022, I saw like a reel on Instagram, perhaps. It was either I saw a reel or comments, I'm not really sure, but I saw something on my feed, and I said, that sim looks familiar. Like, they look so familiar. Because you know how like people have a particular signature and a particular style when it comes to like the way they make something. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know who you are, but I also know who made you. That's like how it was. And at that time I said, that looks like the creator who I lost like all them years ago. Not really years ago, but I lost track of them. So I clicked on the profile, and sure enough, it belonged to Korea. Again, didn't go by Korea at the time. Oh my goodness, did they go by Korea? I don't remember. Let's just say for the sake of it, they had another name. It said Korea, formerly known as this. And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is the creator that I was looking for. And now that I found them, let me follow them so that I won't lose track of their work again. And that's how it was for about maybe 6 months. If I remember correctly, I believe we started liking each other's stories in the winter, like sometime like in the winter or something like that. But I do know that we kind of just made brief comments here and there, like we just liked each other's posts. And then at one point, the first time I feel as though we actually chatted was October 28th. No, my mistake. It was December 14th, because literally October 28th of 2022, I said something or I post something on my story or whatever it was. Like, it's just, I ended up downloading like the data from Instagram, so you can't really see everything, but Korea responded with "say less," and I liked it. Oh, I believe it was something that I responded to their story. I wrote yes to their story, and then they responded with "say less." And then I made a story December 14th of like, I did a makeover of Minerva, and I put, if anyone guesses who this is, I'm a slut V's bussy out. For those who don't know who V is, this is V. And Korea responded with, "You'd what?" I said, "I'd slut V's bussy out." And it says, "No, I heard, but what?" And I said, "It was a great deal, but unfortunately nobody guessed on time, so he's safe for now." And Korea responds with, "The threat was there though, so I'm sure he's going to be nervous from now on." And that was it. Then January 7th came along, and they wrote something on their story. Oh, I know what that one was. It was so Korea bought a shirt. Like it was like a ribbed shirt. It was a gray shirt. And they were talking like in their story about how, I don't know if it was like it had something to do with, because I believe their character Zazel was wearing a shirt, and Korea bought a shirt that was similar to what their sim was wearing. And they said that it was like a subconscious thing. Like it was something that was like so subconscious. I do remember them saying something like that. And I ended up responding with like a laughing emoji. And then, oh my goodness, like why? As you can see right here. And I responded with, "No clue. I be having moments like that too. My guess would be that certain OCs are an extension of you in a way, especially when they are your favors. And when they got something on they look good in, it be like, I'ma look good in that ish too. Hold up, cause for real, you both look good in that shirt." And Korea responded with, "No, I think you're right. It's hard to make OCs that are nothing like you. At the end of the day, they come from your mind, or they came from your mind." My mistake. And as you can see, it says Instagram user. And so the reason why it says Instagram user, if you're not familiar with it, it's because Korea either, like, it's a multitude of things. Somebody either blocked you, they deactivated their account, or they fully deleted their account. And in this case, Korea deleted their account and they made a new one. So that's why when you see the messages, you'll see my name and you'll see an Instagram user, but it's Korea's account. Similar to the Discord, Korea had an older Discord before they made a new one. So instead of seeing Korea's name, you'll see Discord user numbers and stuff. But I'm not on Discord yet. I'm on Instagram. So on Instagram, Korea and I messaged each other between my two accounts. So you have the Hi I'll be seeing you and It's I'll be seeing you. Hi I'll be seeing you is my third account, It's I'll be seeing you is my second. So that's why you see like 2 separate dates, but they're in the same month. It's because I went back and forth with my 2 accounts. On my third account, you see that there's messages that were typed in March, but Korea and I started talking consistently on March the 4th, and that is because I at one point talked about a machinima site known as iMachinima TV. So if you don't know what iMachinima TV is, it's literally its namesake. It's a site that's dedicated to machinimas, but it is not solely focused on Sims.
Interesting.
From what I've seen, if you have Second Life, IMVU, you could probably even do Minecraft, definitely GTA, and I'm fairly certain you can post Halo on there as well. I think it's any form of game material or something like that that you use to create a film. Anything that's used to make a machinima, it's allowed on iMachinima TV. And at the time of me making like that story on my Instagram, it was in development, and I did ask quite a few questions about it because there was a situation that happened a while back that I called the Simflix catastrophe. It was just a whole entire nightmare. But again, I digress. So yeah, totally different story for another day if I decide to retell it. But it was because of that particular post, like set of posts that I made, that Korea ended up reaching out to me, and they said, "Holy shit, thank you for this. I really wish someone would make something like this again, though. I would love to see all of the Sim series in one place." I wrote, "I agree. So far from what I've seen, it's currently in development. I don't know when they'll officially launch, but right now they've been sending out emails to creators. And I know that they did it to fill up the page, that way when it officially launched it just wouldn't be empty, there would be something for people to watch." Anyways, so Korea likes my message, and then they state, "But I'm interested to see how this could work out. There would have to be a ton of mods or regulations. There's way too much to consider. For example, I have another creator that plagiarizes my work regularly, and she posts to YouTube all the time. Would she be allowed to post her series as well? And if so, how would mods handle it if it got out of hand? Animation, credits, CC creators, all of it. How do we regulate?" And of course I made like I responded with like a little emoji, because again, those were some pretty good questions to ask. They also added, "I might be overthinking it, but it might just be a pipe dream." And so I say, those are some really good questions and concerns. There was an incident during the Simflix Tips Awards where people submitted people's work without consent. So even though I've been told it'll be taken into consideration and that there won't be a repeat, the question is how? Exactly. How are we going to ensure we won't have the same issues? Plus, gaining the trust back from the community is going to be tough. Like, I wasn't even in the drama, and I would be nervous to submit. But if it could somehow work out, I would be elated. And then I respond with, "Agreed. I genuinely want iMachinima to succeed, because that would be great for content creators. However, I think it's a little too naive to assume people will blindly trust a machinima site dedicated to The Sims so easily again." I read that all the way wrong, but my mistake. It's here for you guys to see. And then Korea responds with, "Listen, I just want to thank you for sharing this information with me. I'm still fairly new to simming, about a year out, and we have so much history as a community. I would love to get off YouTube. I hate it so much there. I would love to have our own little site just for us." And I put, "It's my absolute pleasure. There are a lot of talented storytellers, yourself included, on YouTube who keep getting censored and or run the risk of getting their content and account terminated even if they follow everything to the letter. I'm being optimistic, but I'm also keeping my eye on it too." Korea likes the message, and then they added, "Oh yeah, a friend of mine just lost her entire account a few weeks ago, and now we're all scared. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you." And I said, "That's freaking crazy. Definitely sorry to hear about your friend. I'll do my best to keep everyone updated on here about iMachinima, since I know not everybody has a Twitter." And Korea responds with, I'm starting to think I should. I miss everything on Twitter. Also, what should I call you? Is it Albie? Something you like? Also back in February, I believe it was February 28th, I did like a story of theirs about like clown CC and stuff like that, and I said all the clown CCs are totally worth it. And then a couple of minutes later, Korea said, okay, wait, is your user a play on of I'll be seeing you? And I said yes. Now I can go back to the part that I mentioned before. I said also, same hat, I'll mark this year as my second of being active instead of just popping in and out. I'm fine with people referring to me as Albie. I get a very good laugh when people realize I'll be seeing you is literally a phrase. I meant to put a pun. And Korea stated, I did that just the other day. It's cute. I like it. Have you been in the community for a long time? I said, thank you. And then Korea writes, I know I'll be seeing you around a lot. Boo! You had to laugh at that. It was a requirement. And I told them, not long. I've been playing The Sims in its entirety since 2017, like late 2016, early 2017, but became fully active in the community itself about a year and a half ago. And they said, I see. I imagine even then you've seen a lot of things come and go.
Ah, the ghetto! The ghetto!
Oh my gosh, did I ever. It's why I'm very selective in who I allow in my circle, because people be wildin' in this community. Anyway, I do mention, and I'm usually an outsider looking in, or very, very nosy. And Korea responds, nothing wrong with that. It's good to be aware. And I posted an emoji, but again, as you can see, because they're just screenshots, you can't really see the link, but I believe it's like the red table talk, so maybe Jada pointing, like saying that part. So they say, it's a wonder some creators have been here so long. My whole world was destroyed in exactly 2 minutes, so I could never imagine 6 years like some of the big machinima makers. A lot of them keep to themselves though, and I see why now. I respond with, that's awful, I'm sorry to hear that. What's even worse is even when you don't bother no one, people don't like seeing others happy and report their stuff. I've seen that happen quite a few times on here. And then they said, if you have anything, trust there will always be that one miserable person trying to take it away, whether conscious or subconscious, so I wholeheartedly believe it. And I stated, I won't ask for details since it's not my place. Respecting people's boundaries are important for little old me, but I'm very sorry to hear you've dealt with misfortune. It's definitely gotta be some jealousy or some high these type of people get. I don't know why it's hard for them to simply just scroll by stuff they don't like. Let simmers tell their stories in peace. Well, I've been battling a lot with my own ego. I know when you're a creative, it's hard to be vulnerable and share your work with everyone. Simply put, I got a harrowing message from one of my followers about a plagiarizer. So I tried to stay reasonable about the whole thing, but things just got worse and worse until they all came to a head today.
And here we go.
She messaged me multiple times asking for animation, CC, reshade. I gave it all to her because we do not gatekeep around these parts, okay? But she took it too far, so I asked her to stop and she seemed to comply. Then I had to block her today. I was civil and kind and not combative as best as I could be, but Albie, I gotta protect my peace of mind. Now whatever happens, happens. I'm just trying to finish this episode. Thank you so much for your patience and allowing me to vent. I hate that this is one of our first conversations, but I feel safe here, I suppose.
Child. Anyway, so